I'm going to make a bold claim. If you're unhappy during your day, you can instantly increase your happiness by dressing better. And you may be like, dude, how is dressing better going to help me with my unhappiness? I promise you. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's such an irrational thought, but if you dress better, you will feel better throughout the day. I've experienced this so much so that I've made a rule for myself to always dress well when I leave the house. It won't always be my best. Obviously, I can't dress the best I can every single day, but I'll always be looking in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? You're actually dressed quite nicely. And I've probably lost a few of you because there's this culture within guys that I don't care how I dress, it doesn't matter how I dress. Girls are aware that the way they present themselves to the world is how the world is going to treat them. So they care about the appearance and the way that they dress. But guys were just like, no, I don't care how I'm dressed. I'm just going to wear a shirt and shorts. And I'm going to wear socks that have holes in them. And I'm just going to wear Crocs. And people are going to take me for who I am. So first I'm going to try and convince the people who believe that, it doesn't matter how I dress, as to why it's important to dress well all the time. So the very first... TJ! So the very first point that comes to mind is think about the nobles. Think about the people who are high up in your area, like the richest people, and think about the poorest people. There's a difference in the way they dress. There is always a difference in the way they dress. The kings in the past, the monarchs, right? Flipping the presidents, the first family, they don't wear the same things that everyone else wears. Why? Because the way they dress is important. The way you dress is important. I saw the stats that the people who dress better, like you immediately assume that they're richer. Like they may not be richer, they may be poorer than you, but the fact that they're wearing a good outfit, one that is nicely put together, they're well groomed, you assume that they're richer. You assume that they are of higher status. And I think that is built in us. When you put on a nice outfit, you immediately feel better about yourself. You immediately have more confidence. And aren't these things that come with higher status? And because you have a better self-esteem, because you have more confidence, it means that everything you do while you're wearing that outfit will be better. You get better results. Whenever I go out, right? Let's say I'm going out with my friends for lunch, going out to watch rugby or sport, I always make sure that I'm looking good because I never know who I'm going to meet. What if I see the love of my life and I'm wearing a shirt and I'm wearing shorts that haven't been ironed? Do you think I'm going to go talk to the love of my life? Do you think I'm going to have the courage, the confidence to present myself to that girl? Or I'll just have to stay back? And as you dress well, you set higher and higher standards for yourself. So it'll first start off with dressing well. You're like, you know what, I need to dress well every day. And then that will just translate into other areas of your life. You're like, you know, I need to clean my room. I need to make sure that my hair is always well groomed. I need to make sure that this and that. And eventually it's just going to snowball into you having a general higher standard for your whole life. And then the last part, which I don't know if it will be like this for everyone, but I truly feel like dressing well is good for your soul. There are very few things that are better than putting on a good outfit, looking in the mirror, and just being happy that, you know what, this is a good outfit. Like even sometimes, like the night before I go out, I'll just be thinking, this outfit I'm going to wear. And you may be thinking, you know, the common self-improvement advice is like, you need to have more brain space for the things that matter. But the way you present yourself to the world matters. People think that the way you present yourself to the world doesn't matter. It matters. The same way that when you go into the gym, when you're trying to build your physique, you're always stressing about the small things, right? About, the cap on your shoulders, about your lats, about your lower chest. It's the same way that you should be stressing about how you dress, because you see your body as a presentation to the world. It shows how much discipline you have. The way you dress is a presentation to the world, how much you care about yourself, how much you respect yourself. Because if you truly respected yourself, you wouldn't be fine with just wearing a shirt and shorts that aren't ironed and whatnot. And I'm not saying everyone has to be a hype beast. I don't even advise anyone to be a hype beast, but just find things that fit you nicely. So now that I've convinced you to dress well, I know I have because I'm just that guy. I'm joking. But now that I've convinced you, right? The first step to actually improving your fashion sense is very simple. Get friends who dress better than you. We all know that saying, you are the average of your 5 closest friends. And it's true. See, last year my fashion sense was quite... When I think back to it, that's just the natural progression of life. Every time you look at yourself from a year ago, you always think that, this guy, what was this guy doing? But when I look at pictures of myself from a year ago, I'm like, what were you wearing? How did you think that this was fine? And a huge thing that's changed in this past year is I've become closer to these guys. It's 2 guys in particular. Actually, no, I haven't. I was always close to them, but now the dynamic of the relationships, it's like we spend more time together. So because these guys had good fashion sense, like these are some of the drippiest guys I know, right? Because they had a good fashion sense, now I was constantly spending time with them and going out with them, and I'll be seeing the things that they're wearing, right? Subconsciously, I started to improve my fashion sense. It wasn't even this conscious thing like I'm going to improve my fashion sense, this and that. I was just around people who were dressed better than me. And you never like to be the worst. So subconsciously, I was like, you know what, I don't want to be the worst here. So it's time to improve your fashion sense. And then eventually, I became conscious of it. Then there's probably someone who's watching whose friends don't dress particularly well, but those friends provide them a lot of value. But they still want to improve their fashion sense. So you can't really apply, get around people who dress better, right? The best way for you to improve your fashion sense is to follow more people who dress well. Like, those fashion influencers on social media. Follow more of them. Because we probably spend more time on social media than we spend with our friends. So if you create your social media page to be showing you people who are dressed well, you will naturally dress well. You'll see the way someone like pieces together an outfit and you'll be like, you know what? Let me try piecing my outfit together like that. Now that I've said it, I actually think that the most important thing you can do is follow people on social media who have better fashion sense, who have the type of fashion like style that you'd want to get into. Because as I said, we spend a lot of time on social media. A lot. Probably more than we spend interacting with people. I'm not saying that's good, but that's just the nature of the world. Before you search externally and you want to be like, you know what, be my friend because you dress well, start following fashion influencers on social media. So now that you've created an environment where it promotes a better fashion sense, the next thing you should focus on is the basics. So how I think about the basics, and keep in mind, I am no master of fashion. I just like art. I like expressing myself through the way I dress. So I'll dress very differently. Some days I'll be formal because that's how I'll be feeling. Some days I'll wear the most casual outfit. Like some days when I'm going to church, I'll be wearing a suit. The next day I'll wear a tank top. And people may say that's disrespectful in the church, but it's just an expression. It's just an expression of how I'm feeling on that current day. What you want to do is you need to find your general fit style. Some people prefer baggy, some people prefer tight. Personally, I like baggy clothes. Unless I'm going to the gym, then it has to be tight. Like, when you're going to the gym, you have to show off the gains because you never know who's going to be there. You might need the love of your wife. The love of your wife. The love of your life. Now that you've established your type of fit, you need to buy the essentials first. Like the core pieces. So that's going to include like your black pants, your denim pants, like your jeans. It's going to include white shirt, black shirt, like just the essentials that you know that you'll be able to pair with many, many things. Colors that go with each other. So black, white, blue, green even, but like, the darker shades of green. Earth colors, essentially some brown, like the main colors. These essentials are the foundation to your wardrobe. Think about it like building a house. You're not going to start building the roof, the fancy walls and stuff before you build the foundation, because what? Everything will collapse. You have no foundation. So the same way when you're building a house, you start off with the foundation. You dig deep down, you add the cement, whatever a foundation is made out of, and then you build up. That is the same way you should be tackling your fashion sense or your wardrobe. You start from the foundation, the essential fits, the essential pieces, the jeans, the black pants, the khaki pants, and then after that you can now start veering into like the things with patterns. Like, let me show you this shirt. It's actually one of my favorites, right? I've worn it once. Like, this is a funky pattern, but there's no way I could build a wardrobe from this. Like, there's no way. I would have to have the essential pieces, like the black longs, the khaki longs, I don't know, the jeans, so that I could now fit this in. Like, imagine if this was the first thing I bought. I wouldn't be able to wear anything with it, but now that I have the foundation, I can have the fancy things. So, sorry about that. Now, the last step to improving your fashion sense, there are probably more steps. I'm only a few months into this journey, but me being a few months into this journey is better than someone who's been into fashion for like 10 years. Because, look, I was in your position. I dressed like a bum 6 months ago, and now I dress okay. So the last step is to be curious, allow yourself to be creative, and just explore. I view fashion as art, right? There's no formula to art. Art is simply just an expression of what the creator is feeling at that time, or what the creator wants to portray to you. The way you dress is simply just an expression of how you're feeling, an expression of the phase you're going through in your life. So allow yourself to be creative. Allow yourself to test the boundaries. You know, there are rules in fashion, like 3/4 rule or 2/3 rule, whatever, like proportional rules. Allow yourself to break them. Allow yourself to make mistakes, especially with fashion. You're not gonna go from dressing like a bum to being the best dressed person overnight. You're gonna need to make mistakes, and I've been making my fair share of mistakes. In fact, a few weeks ago, I went out with my friends and I had this oversized jacket. It's somewhere in there, I'll show you one day. This oversized jacket. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, I might be a bit oversized, but like, I like it. And then I go out, I was feeling myself. And then one of my friends, Fari, he was literally like, boys, come together. So it was 4 of us. And he was like, is this jacket G? And he was pointing at me and I was like, flip. And then when you pointed it out, I realized, it actually is quite big. Because it was so big that I had to walk with my arms straight for my hands to be out of the jacket. And because I made that mistake, I now have a better wardrobe. Because I'm going to get the jacket cropped and it will fit better now to add to my wardrobe. And that's just the nature of life in general. We make mistakes so that we get better. If you're going to take anything from this video, if you're going to be a follower of my channel, dress like a swagger. Dress well, present yourself extremely well to the world as best as you can. I'm not saying you're going to have to go out there and buy LV trainers, whatnot. Actually, just buy whatever you want to buy. Dress however you want to dress. But make sure that you're presenting yourself well to the world. If you're watching my videos, just make a commitment to be a guason, to have swag, because it's important. It's good for your soul.